Good afternoon, Musa. Super happy to welcome you to the second episode of Procurement Without Borders. We will chat for about 30 minutes, 1 hour, and I'm super excited to know more about procurement in Tanzania. Before we crack on, could you introduce a bit yourself, about your backgrounds, and a bit of like your journey into procurement, please?
Okay, thank you, Lucy. Good afternoon. It's evening in Tanzania. Thank you for having me. My name is Mussa Emery Mwambugi, founder of Procure Faster. I'm having more than 13 years of experience in procurement and supply chain management. And I'm certified procurement and supplies professional and a procurement practitioner from Tanzania. Of course, my journey into procurement started out of curiosity because I was fascinated by how organizations make purchasing decisions and how those decisions shape the project outcomes. And over time, I realized that procurement isn't just about buying goods, and I'm insisting it's not just about buying goods or services. It's about creating value, managing risk, and enabling development. I've worked across both public and private sector, and most recent within a large agricultural, mining, and infrastructure project. And of course, they were financed by different funders, including the World Bank, UNDP, and the other international financing institutions.
Mhm.
So each experience has deepened my understanding that effective procurement is truly a strategic driver of progress. That at least I can say about it.
That's super interesting, and you also have the like experience both in like public and private sectors. From your from your side, from your opinions, which sector have you like prefer, or are there like anything that's like really shock you either in the private or in the public sector?
Agriculture, I've been doing a lot in agriculture sector.
Okay. And so was there more like what did you buy?
Okay, it's agricultural implements,
Okay.
equipments, and other tools. And for example, the project that we are doing now, we normally buy a lot of equipment, agricultural equipment from different countries in Africa, equipments like tractors and those related, so that we can implement one of our large-scale agricultural
Mhm.
projects.
That's that's
Yes,
that's interesting. And
and fertilizers.
and fertilizers, okay. So
Yeah.
what are like the specificity of the like Tanzania procurement market for someone who doesn't know, I would say anything about that specific geographical area?
Okay, if I heard you correctly, Tanzanian market, there is some equipments or goods that are found here, and
Mhm.
there are some items, good and other services that are not found here. We are sourcing beyond our country. There are some items that need a specialized technology, so that we
Mhm.
normally source from different countries. Like maybe I can say, for example, maybe we're buying fertilizers. We don't have so many fertilizers company here in Tanzania,
Okay.
so there are some types of fertilizer that we are sourcing in a different countries. But of
Mhm.
course, we have one of our company in Tanzania called Minjingu, which is
Okay.
which is manufacturing fertilizers. But not all fertilizers can be suitable in different agriculture activities. So some of them we are sourcing outside the country.
Okay, interesting. And I would say, w- compared to like when you started your career and
Mhm.
now, what has been the main differences on the main?
Yes. Okay. So when I started my career, it was just like used to comply. Compliance was my main objective. But now it's not only compliance, it's about impact. It's about whatever I'm doing in procurement, what are the deliverables? What am I aiming to achieve? So now I'm focusing much on the impact. While I was starting my career, I was focusing on the compliance, like I should comply.
Okay, interesting. So, if I understood well, at the start it was more really like you have to do something so you comply with that. But now
Yeah,
nowadays it's more like what's
yeah,
the added value procurement can bring. Will you have
yes.
like an example to outline your point? So, like for perhaps recent procurement you have been doing.
Okay. For example, let me give an example in public procurement. You know, in public procurement, we have steps, procurement steps that are directed by the procurement regulations and
Mhm,
act. So whatever you are doing, you should follow what the public procurement regulation and acts. So you should not move with your own perception. You should not move just like the way you think it has to be conducted that way. You should follow
mhm,
the set of procedures as per the regulations. But now, whatever I'm doing is because maybe of the position I'm holding now,
mhm,
it's more of risk, managing risk. It's more of output.
mhm.
So currently, of course I'm following the procedure,
Mhm.
but I have to make sure that I'm creating value to whatever the purchases I'm doing, so that
Okay.
it can have an impact and deliver and the intended deliverable to be achieved on timely and on the cost uh, required.
Okay. Okay. So we're trying to find a balance between
Yes,
like still following that compliance because I'm guessing you have to like follow some strict
mm,
set of regulation, but at the same time
yes,
you want to like bring value.
yes.
That's really good. And perhaps like, do you have any best practices to bring value? So what I'm saying by that is more like in practice, what do you do to bring that value element to the procurement?
Okay, for us, we have also called uh, value of money.
Oh yeah.
For us, we have value of money, and the value of money has like three elements. That is
Mhm.
economy, effectively, and efficiency.
Yeah.
So, in whatever the procurement that you are processing,
Mhm.
has to have those quality. It has to have economy, it
Okay.
has to have effective, and it has to have efficiency. And in together is
Mhm.
where you are going to achieve the value for money.
Okay. Okay. So it's really the balance between like quality and price.
Yes,
I will
of
say.
course. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. And in terms of your experience, what so let's say like a new graduate just contacted you and wants to know more about procurement. What would you say to that person?
Okay. For me, procurement is. I would prefer to say that procurement is not about buying. Most
Mhm,
of people think that procurement is about buying, it's about going to the markets, asking for quotations, and come back with three quotations and make decision. No, no, no. For me, procurement it's enabling impact. It's not about buying only. It's
yeah,
about enabling impact. It's about giving impact. It's about achieving deliverables. So it's more than having quotations on the table. It's about the way you are managing risk, the way you are controlling and monitoring spending. It's about the way you are building relationship with suppliers. It's about the way you are engaging with the community. It's about the way you are addressing issues of environmental governance and so whatever. So to me, procurement it's broader. It's our day to day lifestyle.
Yes, that's sometimes where I agree with it. More in terms of sometimes we tend to like want to simplify what procurement is about. So I can personally sometimes I can tend like saying buying for like someone who doesn't really know what procurement is about. But I agree with that like so much more. I will say in terms of like what you can do. And perhaps questions for me is more like, and if that does exist or not, but can you walk me through a normal day today for you? So more in terms of like what you are doing during your day as a procurement expert.
Okay. I normally uh, let me start by giving a little bit example. I normally
Of
talk
course.
to my subordinate that yes, that you don't need to have stress when you don't need to have stress when you are preparing your day-to-day timetable. Your to-do list for starting from the morning.
Yep.
So for me, yes, for me, let's start from Monday.
Yep.
So for me, I'm. Yeah, are you are you hearing me? It's like you
Yes.
are.
Yeah. I can hear you.
Yes. So for me, from day to day, I normally have my to-do list. The number one, yeah, the number one task is to make follow up on whatever we have agreed on before the day.
Yep.
For example, yes, for example, I've initiated the advance payment to a certain supplier. So
Mm-hmm.
my to-do list will be a following up on the delivery. That's
Okay.
that's my to-do list. So my to-do list is made of what have been
Mm-hmm.
done. So if I've paid the advance payment, then my to-do list will be the follow-up of the
Mm-hmm.
delivery. The yes, the second to-do list will be uh, initiating the tenders. Some of the tender are on the plan.
Mm-hmm.
We may have plans, but if implementation is not in the proper timeline, that would
Mm-hmm.
be the problem. So I will start initiating the tenders. Like I'm inviting different bidders, do evaluation, and so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the other to-do list is preparation of different contracts, like those contracts that have been, those tenders that have been finalized.
Yep.
Then I'll be processing the contract for so that we can start implementing. And the
Mm-hmm.
other thing on my day to day is building relationship. Following up suppliers has a lot of challenges. So my to-do list also having the strategies of what gone wrong, what should I do so as to make these bidders to have the capacity I want. What those kind of issues. So the other thing is to make follow up on payment. It's also a big challenge. Finance department and procurement department. You may finalize whatever with the supplier. But you may have difficulty in payment on time, and this is normally happens in finance department. So
Yep.
I will also make a huge follow-up on finance department so that these suppliers can be paid on time. That at least will be my to-do list on day to day.
That's quite a long to-do list, and thanks for sharing. But I'm curious about the supplier relationship aspect you mentioned. So perhaps the first question I have for you is more like how do you build that trust? How do you build that relationship with your suppliers?
Yes, normally we should be the part of problem solving.
Mhm.
Suppliers are always having the challenges like timely delivery, shipping problems, their internal issues. So the moment you have paid and they don't deliver on time, it has not to be the case. As a procurement expert, you should be the part of understanding what the supply is passing through. And you should be also the problem solver. Like you should propose the solution. Like maybe you should do this, maybe you should do this, so that you can deliver on time. And by doing so is where you are building the relationship with your supplier.
Okay. Okay. So what I understand, it's more like working with your supplier to make sure they're like paid on time, but they also like deliver
Mm.
the
Yeah.
service you want
Yes.
as they
Yes.
promise.
Sure.
And in
Yeah.
your opinion, to be like a good procurement professional nowadays, what would be the like top three skills? I know you mentioned like problem solving, for instance, but if you had to pick like three skills for a procurement professional to be good at that job, what would it be and why?
Yes. You need to be a negotiator. You need to be a negotiator. Sometimes you're becoming mad when you have paid somebody and he's not delivering. So at least you need to be, yes, it's human to become mad. Like, I've paid you, why you're not delivering?
Yep.
So you need to be a negotiator. Like, you should understand things. Like, you should put things in a way that you address problems more than putting blames and all of that. So you need to be a good negotiator. The other thing, you should be a good communicator.
Okay.
Effective communication. Sometimes, because of, as I've said, because you are mad, the language that you are using
Mhm.
may influence a supplier whether to deliver faster or to delay. Sometimes people are using offending language, and like that. So supplier will not be able to cope with what you want him to do. So a
Yep.
communicator. And the other thing, you should be a moderator, somebody who moderate things.
Okay.
Like, you should, yeah, you should not, of course, you should detect the procurement process, I understand,
Mhm.
but sometimes you should be a moderator. You are modulating things so that,
Okay.
yes, so that every party is becoming happy and you'll be having your delivery on time.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. So more like being a force of propositions and not taking for not sure taking for granted is the right term, but more in terms of like if someone comes with an idea, you should be there like to support them
Mm,
in terms of like modeling the solution and how it
yes.
can be better.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. No, I like your like three main ones in terms of like negotiation, communication.
Mm,
That's the key like skills
mm,
you can find on like different reports. And I do like
mm,
the one about modeling. I've never heard it before,
mm.
Musa, but I like it
Okay.
because you have to be like to work with your stakeholders
Mm,
and not just do what they told you to do, and really like
mm,
supporting them to have the best possible outcome.
yeah.
Okay, that's good. I know you mentioned so when it was around the fertilizers projects in terms of like working with suppliers which are like outside Tanzania. When you buy from abroad, are there like any common hurdle you are facing? Any like specific struggle?
Okay, when buying abroad, most of things that we are facing is the issues of currency. You know,
Okay.
the issues of, yes, because we are having the different currencies.
Yeah.
So so sometimes you may have a certain budget limit in Tanzanian shillings. So when you are buying, when you are searching, or when you are doing some sourcing, you
Yeah.
might find the currency of the country that you are buying is higher. It's more higher compared to your Tanzanian shilling. That is a bit challenging because it's disturbed the budget that you have allocated to a specific equipment or service.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so it's like the exchange rate is a
Exactly.
difficulty for you as a buyer. Interesting.
Yes.
And who are your, so in which countries outside Tanzania are your main suppliers from? Just out of curiosity.
Okay, we are buying from India.
Okay.
We're buying, yes, we're buying from China. Sometime I'm buying from Brazil.
Okay.
Sometime buying from Egypt.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
so those kind of countries.
that's interesting. And have you had any communication or cultural challenges with these countries when you were buying from them?
Yeah, of course, not so much.
Okay.
Most of people nowadays they are so 24/7 online.
Okay.
So when yes, they have their WhatsApp number. So when you maybe you ask a quotation of a certain equipment or service, they will always respond to you. They will always respond to you. If not by email, they will respond by WhatsApp.
Okay.
Maybe the problem of communication is happening when there is a delay of shipment. That's where you will see the communication is not okay. When you are making follow-up, like um, when the item will be delivered, you will find a little bit of delay in communication. But
Mhm.
when things are okay, you are okay with your supplier, then you will never find the challenges in communication.
Okay. Okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting. So it doesn't, like with online tools, it doesn't seems to be like big struggle. I would say, to like
Mm,
trade with countries outside Tanzania.
yeah.
That's interesting. And are there any, I would say, regional collaborations? So, like, do you have any African organizations where they are like some, I would say, support, or that's shaping how procurement is in Africa?
Okay, of course we have.
Mhm.
For example, Tanzania is a member of East African countries and is a member of SADC countries.
Okay.
So maybe in responding to your question, it's better to understand some important agreement in East African country.
Mhm.
Sometimes we call them protocols. We have two. That is East African Countries Common Union, and
Okay.
we have East African Common Market. So those member states are free to have a free movement of goods
Yeah.
and services within East African members. So currently, Tanzania may be able, supplier from Tanzania may
Mhm.
be able to participate in a tenders that has been invited or advertised in Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and the other member state of East African countries. So
Okay.
by doing that, the procurement in those countries have the standard and the harmonized procurement procedure. So it's very easier for now to participate on those tender in a different countries in East
Okay.
Africa and SADC countries.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. So you have that like
Yeah.
more international agreements, which make it then easier to trade within like certain countries.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. And are there like any success stories or failures in terms of like buying or selling across African borders that people should know about?
Okay. For me, I will prefer speaking about the success.
Okay. Yeah.
For us,
Definitely.
yes, for us, we have regional collaboration on infrastructure, as I've said about those protocols.
Mhm.
Uh, we have infrastructure. I mean, we have infrastructure projects that are cutting across some East African countries member.
Okay.
So yes, so one major success that has been in East African countries is that of SGR, Standard
Okay.
Gauge Railway. It's where you might find it is in Tanzania and it's also in another country in East Africa. And
Mhm.
those kind of infrastructure project I'm saying has to pass through the procurement procedure, which is very standardized in most of East African countries. And we have a lot of other examples, like East African crude oil pipeline.
Okay, yep.
It's also in Tanzania and in another country in East African.
Mm-hmm.
So you may find we have the regional collaboration on infrastructure, and whatever the project in that collaboration is passed through the procurement.
Okay, interesting. So you have more like success story in terms of like infrastructure within East Africa countries where they collaborate together in order to like buy this more expensive type of like goods which are like infrastructure.
Yes. And the other thing, the success story, currently we have been implementing large projects using the advanced procurement models, which
Okay.
wasn't before. For example, currently we are using PPP, that
Yeah.
is public-private partnerships,
Oh,
and
yep.
we have, yes, and we have EPC plus F,
Yep.
that is engineering, procurement, construction, and financing, and
Okay.
the other advanced model, which those kind of model wasn't uh, uh, appeared, or it wasn't implemented before, because most of those large projects were implemented using the different procurement approaches. But now we have in this advanced one that help us to have an impact of on our on our large project
Mm-hmm.
when we are delivering high quality project on time and within budget, especially complex infrastructure and the energy sectors.
Okay, interesting. I like the public-private partnership. I did an
Yes.
internship before in that area, and it's always something I found interesting when you have like public and then the
Mhm.
private interest coming together. So that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Next topic I'm curious about, Musa, is more around digitalization and technology. So I would be curious to know where is Tanzania, I would say, in terms of their digital procurement journey, and also like what's your view on artificial intelligence?
Okay. Of course, we are moving faster. We are moving very faster.
Okay.
In public sector, we have made a big stride through Nest. We have developed our own
Mm-hmm.
e-procurement system
Mm-hmm.
that is called Nest, and
Okay.
all of procurement procedures
Mm-hmm.
and the other steps are now conducted online, and
Okay.
it's full digital. And
Footage.
it
Okay.
was yes, it was launched in July 2023,
Mm-hmm.
and it has rapidly grown into common marketplace, and of course connecting suppliers and procuring entity with every procurement step from planning to
Mm-hmm.
payments.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, so we are moving very fast. And my comment on AI is we are expecting to move to that era, because we are believing now in big data
Mm-hmm.
analysis so that we can make informed procurement decision
Yep.
to avoid risk and achieving the intended deliverable at the right quality, cost, and time.
Okay. Okay. So it's like AI could provide some, could like support you in your day-to-day job. It's just more finding the trade-off with like security, that type of thing.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. I mean, I found it's interesting to know more about another country and more in terms of what they are doing. Perhaps the last sections I would love to speak about with you is more like your own journey and your own career lessons. Um, what's I would say what's the best lessons you have learned while working in procurement?
As I've said earlier, I I'm working procurement
Mhm.
because first I believe procurement is a driving force. It's a driving force. Most of 60 to 70% of companies' budget in any place,
Uh,
the implementation of those activities
mhm.
will depend on the procurement on goods,
Mhm.
procurement on consultancies, procurement of non-consultancies, procurement of works. So I want to be a part of the winning team that is leading the company to the achievement. So I want to be that way. That's why I want to work in procurement.
That's I think a good things, and I agree with you more in terms of like procurement used to be more like tactical, where it was more like an admin function. Nowadays, procurement is more seen as having that adding value, and you can bring more value to your company. That's good to know. And
Yes.
if I would say more in terms of like, will you have any specific advice for like someone who perhaps doesn't know about procurement? What would be their advice, or for someone who's just started their career? Would you have any like specific advice to give to them?
Okay, I'll be having two kind of specific advice.
Okay.
First of all, for the young Africans who
Yep.
are coming to this career, that they should treat procurement as a career of impact, not merely a function of compliance, as I've said before. They
Mm-hmm.
should embrace, yeah, they should embrace technology, uphold ethical standards, and cultivate a global market. A global mindset. Africa needs procurement professionals who view the
Mm-hmm.
field not just like a process, as I've said, but as a powerful platform for transformation and sustainable development. This is specifically for young African professionals who are coming. And
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is for the investor. For
Yep.
me, what I see in procurement is there is a gap of technology. There is a technological gap.
Okay.
Of course, most of people are still using manual procurement processes. Uh,
Okay.
most of their most of procurement steps are conducted offline. They are not using any systems, and some of countries, of course, they are using e-procurement systems.
Mm-hmm.
But I see there is a good number of countries who are doing their procurement offline. So I I I advise investors,
Mm-hmm.
techno investor, that they should think on building softwares, procurement softwares, especially those are catering African context. Most of overseas e-procurement software are
Mm-hmm.
not catering African procurement context. So
Mm.
yes, that's why I came up with Procure Faster, which
Yep.
is of course still on developing mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I advise other people who will be able to build or to develop this kind of software. There is a huge demand of it in Africa.
Okay, interesting. And when you're saying that other software are not fit for purpose for the African markets, what would be
Yeah.
like one recommendation? So, why is it not fit for purpose?
Yes. First of all, of course, it's not good to mention software's names, but what I know is most of them,
Mm-hmm.
they have the features. They have the features that are not localized. For example, payment terms. Most of software, they're using cards, like
Yeah.
credit cards,
Yep.
that you are finalized with a supplier, then the money will be uh, discharged or whatever. But here we are not doing that. Here is we have a different modality of payments. Sometimes we used even to pay through the mobile, through banks, through online transfer, those kind of
Okay.
yes, those kind of payment modality. And the
Mm-hmm.
other thing is, most of overseas software, they don't have tendering, they don't have sourcing. It's like e-commerce. With
Okay.
so like there's a product online, you select and
Mm-hmm.
you pay. No, so here it's not catering our services. I mean, it's not catering our requirement. We need a software that is supporting the functions from planning, the way we are planning our procurement plan. It goes to procurement requisitions, it goes to tendering, it goes to contract management, it goes to supplier monitoring, and so whatever. It goes to payments, you see. So most
Okay.
of those overseas software, some of the features are not available. And when you ask for them,
Mm-hmm.
there will be a higher cost of developing, because they say we can't develop a feature for you
Mm-hmm.
because we are not even sure that we are going to sell it. So you need
To pay. Okay.
to yes, you need to pay a lot of money. It's like a personalized feature. That's why I
That's
came
okay.
up with a Procure Faster
Yeah.
that has features from the planning up to contract implementation.
Okay, okay, but that's interesting
Yes.
to know. I mean, conscious of time because we have 2 minutes remaining before the sessions
Okay.
automatically close. I mean, I've learned a lot in the like short discussions we have had. Are there like anything you want to add? Any best practices? One last word, I would say to you, Musa, that we haven't covered yet.
Yes, there is a lot of opportunity here in Africa. That's
Okay.
what I can say. There is a lot of opportunity in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of mining. I mean, there is a lot of mining. There is a lot of requirement for fertilizers in bulk. There is a lot of requirement in uh, uh, agricultural equipments like tractors
Okay.
and the other implements. There's a lot of opportunity in agricultural products. So whoever want to engage in African business,
Mm-hmm.
yes, should be aware that there's a lot of opportunities. What
Okay.
he has to do is to communicate effectively, to build the relationship, and to understand the procurement setup of each country. Of course, they are the same, but not so much. So you have to understand the way we are handling our issues here in Africa, particularly in Tanzania,
Mm-hmm.
and you allow us to come up and make business with us through tendering in public, in private, and the other areas.
As you have heard, working in procurement in Tanzania has many common aspects as a procurement officer across the globe. Obviously, there are some specificity to Tanzania and where it's placed on the African continent. If you have enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe to that channel. And if you would like to have another country to be featured, please put it in the comment section. Thanks for listening.